Boxing King Media. We're out here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Is it called White Hart Lane still? I don't even know because I don't really follow football.
It's called White Hart Lane, so yeah.
Spence, how you doing? Obviously, we're here for the Chris EUBANK Jr. Conor Benn 2 press conference, and it's called The Ring Unfinished Business. I like the old school branding they've done in the background. Reminds me of the whole Ali Fraser poster. But before we even talk about that, we've got to remind fans about what happened, the greatness that we saw on Saturday night, and greatness that you predicted, even though I thought you was going with your heart rather than your brain. But you called it down to a T. Terence Crawford literally kind of did what you said he was going to do. Start off slow, pick his shots, and then put it on him.
You know, when you're looking at greatness, yeah? You like, greatness has got a lot to do with metaphysics, not statistics. So if you looked on statistics, then Canelo does things statistically better than Terence Crawford. And I told people this is like a car engine. So it's not the man who can go really fast, it's the man who's clocked up the most miles. And we've seen many times Canelo's clocked up a lot of the miles. And this is no disrespect to Canelo. Canelo, you went points with John Ryder, right? John Ryder is fantastic. Fantastic fighter, fantastic ambassador, but he's not at that elite level. So you got elite, then you got the elites, and he's head and shoulders above where he is at. So I found it very. I know if you've been around Bud Crawford, he has an aura about him. Yeah, he's friendly, but he has an aura about him, not of only invincibility, but it's of Christ-like consciousness, and only the people who are up there, you know who recognized it before anyone? And he's a very spiritual man, was Alexander Usyk. When the fight was called, straight away, not even without any hesitation, who did he call? Why? Because he's another person that deals with Christ-like consciousness. Christ-like consciousness gets perpetuated many times now in movies. Like you go watch.
He's forgot more than anyone knows.
Well, thank you very much. That's coming from Tony Bellew. Tony, 1 second.
Who did you pick? Because he was the one of very few people that called down to a T that Terence would beat Canelo.
But if you didn't know who I picked, just look at the comments after the Errol Spence fight. I said he would beat Canelo after he beats Errol Spence the way he did. So if you look back far enough, you'll find it.
Yeah, exactly. Tell him, Tom. Thank you very much, bro.
Big up Tony Bellew. Pick him up. So jumping back to your explanation.
Right. So I'm telling you, Christ-like consciousness, guys who have that Christ-like consciousness, you are like in a movie. It's like you're Neo. Right? But it takes time for you to realize it. The thing with Terence Crawford, he realized that from early, and so much more so that what happened, other people around him took onto that and knew, because you got to remember, he was sparring with Timothy Bradley in 2011, right? And Timothy Bradley was the one Timothy Bradley was his John the Baptist, because he was world champion at the time. But he was saying, no, but it's this guy that you want to be looking at. It's this guy I'm telling you, you're dealing with a special, fantastic talent. So when I'm telling you about the Christ-like consciousness, it says in scripture, right? Romans 12, verse 2. Be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. He was constantly renewing his mind, because watching the fight, he was so focused. He didn't take his eye off of Canelo, not once. Watch the fight. Even when Canelo was trying to tuck him up, he didn't take his eye off. It was the focus that made it into hocus pocus, that you lot saw something very, very magical on the weekend. Massive big up to Riyadh Seas and Turkey Al Sheikh for bringing us that fight at that time. It was incredible.
We could obviously talk quite great detail about the fight, but there's one thing I want to ask you upon is, and I love this statement from Terence Crawford. He's put this out since the fight, and it's powerful. He says, I never sold my soul to get to where I am now. Mm-hmm. They said I had no personality and they wanted me to act like a clown, but I said I'm going to be me. If you don't like it, so be it. And obviously look where he's got to. Basically, he didn't want to do the whole typical American type thing, loud, brash, etc. He just let his boxing do the talking.
Yeah, he did, and it paid off for him. But that was the thing. Again, I'm trying to talk about this Christ-like consciousness, yeah? Which is actually a global thing, because loads of people are tapping into the Christ-like consciousness. But in the Christ-like consciousness, yeah? Christ said, bring my enemies before me and I will cut their heads off. It says that in the Bible, right? That's Terence Crawford. When I'm saying Christ-like, I'm not talking about the heal the world lovey-dovey Christ. I'm talking about the Christ that is a warrior. And Terence Crawford has the Christ-like warrior spirit inside of him, and it was so beautiful to go and witness. It was beautiful to witness, man.
It was greatness in the flesh. Next thing I want to speak about, before we even talk about EUBANK Junior, Ben, is Ricky Hatton. Obviously, we've spoke to a lot of people over the last few days, and what the question I've got for you, Spence, obviously, I want to kind of celebrate the person he was, because there's not many boxers you can meet that always leave you with a good impression, always leave you with good energy. Every time I met him, every time I interviewed him, he was always like a humble, nice man. And obviously, if you read some of his quotes, I think I've got one here actually, kind of sums up the person he was. He said, his medication is making people happy. That's what makes him feel good about himself. And that kind of sums up the kind of person he was. So I want you to share with me your most precious or most memorable moment with Ricky Hatton.
My most precious memory with Ricky Hatton was 2000, York Hall, September 23rd, and we were both in adjacent change rooms, right? I got one of my rare wins, got a vicious knockout win, left hook, second round, right? And Ricky Hatton was on there fighting Giuseppe Louis, was it Louis Giuseppe, for the WBO Intercontinental title, yeah? And Ricky Hatton was in next door to me, him, Billy Graham, and he was blasting out Destiny's Child loud. And I'm thinking, ooh, Danny Williams was on the card as well, so was Wayne Alexander. I was saying, who's playing this music so loud? I'm trying to get ready to fight now, because I was the last one, but I've gone and I said, brother, you have to turn off the music, you know, because I looked at Ricky, he's like, Spence. I said, brother, you play. I'm going to be real with you, I wouldn't expect to hear that being played by Ricky Hatton, right? He's like an Elvis Presley fan, as we know. And he's playing it, he was blaring it out. And the thing about it is this, the thing of what made Ricky Hatton very special was the fact that he was endearing. If you met him once, you like you knew him. He was that guy, a special guy. But at the same time, when you're people have to realize that the highs that we receive in life, they are not real. Social media, it is not real. The pats on the back, they are not real. Do you know what I mean? Getting complimented are not real. Getting criticized, they are not real. All that is real is how you feel inside of you. Do you know what I mean? That's the most important thing. And I'm telling you this now, because he was open about mental health problems, right? Mental health is a serious thing. And when we're looking at how much money is being injected into boxing right now, especially for Riyadh season, yeah? There needs to be some form of provisions put together, yeah? Like what like pastoral care or things like that, like what my brother Marlon Morris is doing fantastically well with the Legacy Foundation. Something like that needs to be put in place to aid guys along. But what I'm saying, when it comes to Ricky Hatton, he was a fantastic human being. I'm telling you this now. The reason what made him fantastic, he was very, very honest. That's the thing. He was honest. He was an honest champion, right? And on top of that, he was more than a people's champion, because the night that he went out and he fought Floyd Mayweather, I want people to realize this: 25,000 people, British people, flew out. Right? The arena held 20,000, and he still had Floyd Mayweather's fans. So this is how special the man was. So I'm saying, like, Ricky Hatton was different. Frank Bruno couldn't do those numbers, and Frank Bruno was seen as Britain's favourite son, right? Tyson Fury ain't done this yet, but Tyson Fury was selling out arenas. Anthony Joshua ain't done that yet. So Ricky Hatton was a special, unique human being, and we need to cherish the memory of Ricky Hatton, and more so, like I always say, people only die when you forget them.
Yeah, that's beautifully put there, Spence, and that was quite touching. I think that you couldn't really sum it up better in words. And then coming back to the UK, we're going to EUBANK Junior. Ben, it's been titled Unfinished Business. Is it unfinished business, or is it business that's finished and we're reopening it? Do you like that?
Yeah, very good. It's always going to be unfinished business, right? It's always going to be unfinished business, because right now, right, it's 2-0 and 1 draw to the EUBANKs. So it's always going to be unfinished business. And if you know anything about Conor Benn, right, he is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. And he's riled, he's rattled about the fact that, right, I know the things that I should have done. Because this is what happens in fighters. I could tell you, when you go lose a fight and you go away, you always come back and say, I should have done this, should have done that, should have done. He was controlled by emotion, right? In boxing, you don't need to be controlled by emotion, you need to be controlled by feeling, right? By feeling. It's what you feel inside. And then what you feel inside, then you project that. but you don't get controlled by emotion. That's what happens. He was emotionally too involved in the game. And also, I'm going to tell you an honest thing. I love Conor, and everyone knows I've got personal relationships. So have I got with Chris. With all of them, I've got good relationships with. But when Conor said that he felt really good inside when the old man turned up, I think you're lying, mate. Because I know I want every advantage. And if that was the case that you felt really good, maybe it's good for TV and all that. I'll just say you felt really, no, I'll be round. I want every single eventuality and opportunity for me to come out, things to be in my favor. But in this fight here, I know what Conor's going to come with. And I also know what EUBANK's going to come with. And it's going to be an excellent fight. The last fight was excellent. I was here. We sat down with my brother Marlo. It was incredible. The hospitality and everything was beautiful. And let's see now what happens in the rematch.
You're not going to make any early forget predictions, early favourites.
Early favourites. It's still going to be Chris EUBANK, going to be early favourite. It's still going to be Chris EUBANK, early favourite. But with everything that's going on right now, you never know, because Conor knows if he can make those readjustments. Like I said to you straight after the fight, if you went down to the body earlier, the results could have been maybe a little bit different, right? So you don't know what tactics he's going to bring in. It's going to be a very, very exciting and appeasing fight.
Indeed it is. Spence, I'm going to let you carry on. Thank you for your time. I haven't forgot anything, have I?
Pardon me?
Just thinking I haven't forgotten anything, but yeah, I think we're good.
Got nothing, but keep on doing your stuff, you know what I mean? Because as Muslims, we love Jesus too, and I can see that on your t-shirt.
Thank you very much.
Man, it's crazy to see myself in a game, you know, coming up as a kid playing the fighting games and boxing games and football, just any sports game, just to see yourself, you know, to be able to play yourself. It's crazy to me, still to this day. You know, sometimes I can't even believe that I'm actually in the game, but, you know, dreams do come true, reality sets in, and